Hello and welcome to the very, very live version of Three Yanks and a Brit. Right now, I only have another Yank with me because people don't know how to read time or tell time. I just don't know anymore. Kind of concerned about people. Do I need to get them a sundial? what's going What's going on, Ryan?
I'm
At
the
least one person's here.
I'm the one that yanks the hardest, my man. How we doing?
Okay, yeah. I guess I could call it premature, huh?
Zinger.
Ah,
You know, Sunday night, pretty mellow, just watching NFL all day. But it's amazing to me how reliant I am on the Premier League and how much I love it. And when it's not there, Serie A, La Liga, it's all nice, but it doesn't suffice. It is not the same. It's not the same sport, man. It doesn't feel like the same sport.
yeah. Look. I watched some Serie A,
Mm-hmm.
some Bundesliga, some Liga 1 today. So it was a
League
little.
on. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, you must have
Monaco.
been starved. You must have been starved for some content, huh?
Well, I was watching Juve versus Salernitana,
Yeah.
and they got. If I watched the first half, and I was like, "This is terrible," so
Yeah.
I turned it over to Monaco Leon for the second half of that one, and it was, I guess the Juve one heated up, but I watched Monaco win 2-1 and beat Lyon.
Marvin
So
must have texted me 50 times about the Juventus game.
yeah, it was. Look, I guess some things went on.
Oh my
It
gosh. Look at the action in the last couple minutes. Holy shit.
ended at 2-2. I'm guessing.
Yeah. That is something.
Well, in that league, Juve should not be getting having a draw with Salernitana. That's just not a good look.
I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like the earth is flattening on a lot of these leagues. I think there's a lot more parity than there's ever been. I certainly feel it in England. Teams are just better. They have more money. It's the disparity between the haves and have-nots is not as big as it used to be. When you've got so much TV money coming in, sponsorship money coming in, and I mean, even teams like Brighton have got money. I mean, it's not the same as it was 10 years ago where we could paper over our mistakes with money. It's not the same.
Oh, he landed in a car, bro.
Oh wow.
Are you still on your way home from shopping?
Very quiet. 1 second. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, much better.
How was the tacos, amigo?
Well, my wife decided that she wanted fish instead.
Okay, we could have fish and tacos.
We had mango fish with some fries and some mariscos soup, which was beautiful.
Wow, marisco, huh? Attaboy. I mean, now I want to go
Yeah,
to
it's
tacos.
really good, like kind of shrimp sauce.
Oh yeah.
Devoured it.
Jesters. This is a guy who moved to Mexico and can't handle the heat. It's so hot, bro. And I'm like, buddy, you live in fucking Mexico.
Well, he lives on the coast though. It's a little different.
Yeah.
At least you get a breeze off the
Yeah, I'm on the
Pacific,
coast,
though.
fellas, on the Cabo San Lucas, California, Baja California.
Oh, is that where? Okay, like yeah. No, I've been there. I've been to Mexico 15 times.
Yeah.
Lovely, man. It's great. There's lots of Americans here,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been to San Carlos.
Oh, they finally got him kidnapped.
That reminds me of a story, Jared.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. I did a strip contest when I was, I think, 19 years old at this place called Senor Frogs.
I know we're Senor. I got Senor.
Yeah, this was at Puerto Vallarta, right on the ocean there. And I was one of a couple people that was in a strip contest. That was a time. Wow, I was a wild boy. Tell you what.
Yeah, I went on a 2-week cruise for my honeymoon for number one, and started in Florida and ended up in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I got to go to Colombia too. That was a trip.
That just sounds like it, man. Marvin, what's the word, buddy?
The word is, well, I'm in the car at the moment, and for some reason it disconnected me. But the connection is good this time, so I don't know why it did that. But hopefully it'll be all right through the show.
Well, it disconnected because you're in a car.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm using my wife's internet tethering to my phone, so it should be okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I don't know how reliable that is.
So you're going to be in the car the whole time? You're going to be our man out amongst the people?
Absolutely, brother. Actually, you might even catch a glimpse of the Mexican supermarket where I'm about to head.
Oh, no.
Never know what's in there.
Hey, surprises.
Is it super or a market?
Supermercado, way.
It's a super. It's like it's called La Comer, and it's it's pretty nice.
I had this buddy I used to play futsal with in my 20s. His name was Rodrigo Mercado, and I used to call him Rodrigo Supermercado.
That's the way to go, bro. I'm sure he had lots of goodies to provide for you.
He most certainly was a drug dealer. He most certainly was.
Oh, boy. Monetization, who needs that?
Screw it. I wasn't participating. I just say, you know.
All right. Well,
should we get into it, Jared?
No games this weekend.
Yeah.
You know,
Or we can talk about the Salernitana game.
Oh, well, like I said, I changed over to the Monaco-Lyon game and was watching that.
Oh, it's crazy. It was a really good match. And then Juventus scored like 2 goals in 90-plus min, but they all went crazy, and then it got it taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And Allegri got a red card. Milik got a red card. Somebody on Salernitana got a red card. It all went off.
You think this is a Calciopoli scandal again there, Marvin?
Quality was surprisingly good, though. I was really surprised to see.
But he has that good Wi-Fi connection, bro.
Yeah, real good. Vlahovic. Interesting. Bonucci with a goal as well. How about that?
Well, you know, that's what he does.
I'm a fan. I remember when we were about to spend $100 million on him. I don't know about that.
I don't know about 100 million, but he is a good player.
Yeah, hell yeah, he's a good player.
But since it's just us, we can get down to the nitty gritty. I kind of wanted to go through, adding people to the stream.
Sure.
Here we go. You back now, Marv?
Yeah, I think it's going to cut out every like 5 or 6 minutes. So if I cut out, just don't say anything. I'll just jump back in each time.
All right, cool, bro.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, that gets you 3 demerits, though.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah, I'm going to put you in detention.
I kind of wanted to go through positionally kind of and how you think that the new guy, Mr. Potter, not Harry Potter, but Graham Potter, will be kind of setting up the team and what we think moving forward for the season.
So I mean, I've probably written this down and sent this to maybe 50 people. Anybody but Aspi. I cannot have Azpilicueta in this lineup. I can't do it, Jared.
Well, I don't disagree. I think he will get some game time because, unfortunately, we're kind of light in a couple of positions that he can play. Most notably, the right back side. If we go to a back 4, because we really don't have another, unless you're going to play a Fofana out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible you could play Fofana at right back, but
it's not that hard of a position. It's one of the easiest positions on the field, if not the easiest. Outside back, it's pretty easy, man. I mean, Fofana, I'm sure he would do it, but again, like I don't know what. I mean, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, I know this, and this about Potter." Not really. No, you don't. Nobody knows what he's really gonna do. I would say, yeah, as long as it's just not Aspi, because again, this guy, he gets exposed constantly. He is too old. There are too many miles on those legs. He's played too many games. He's 33. He might as well be 38 because that dude has been beaten down by overuse. And I'm actually still surprised that he didn't go to Barcelona, but maybe he will in another year. But that being said, yeah, I hope that Potter doesn't go with Asby just because he's the captain and just because it's a security blanket, when in fact it's not a security blanket. It's a liability.
Yeah, it's a trap, right? You got to put your best Admiral Akbar accent on. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
That's what it is. That's look. I think that he's been a great servant. I wanted him gone 2 years ago, but he's still here. He's the other cockroach that doesn't want to leave. We got Alonso out the door finally. You know, I guess the undead can die. But you know, we've got one more sitting there that needs to go on his way too. But for me, I would love to see us, because we have a Zakaria now on the team, go to a back four and use him as a drop-in DM, because you still end up really with a back three in attack, but maybe allows more flexibility in some positions. But are you still expecting a back three when we resume on Wednesday?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. I think we'll play a 3-5-2. I think we'll play a traditional attacking center mid. Who that is, I have no idea. It could be Pulisic, could be Mount, could be well, it's not going to be Ziyech, definitely not. But could be
Havertz.
Raheem Sterling, could be Havertz. I'd like to see that. I really would like to see that. Havertz, yeah. But yeah, I think we'll go with 3-5-2. I love the formation. It's what I played when I was in high school. You know, when we were, when I was getting ready to become a really good player. I mean, I played defensive mid in the 3-5-2, and 3-5-2 is a really strong formation.
But you're talking about a 3-5-2 as a 2-1, not a 1-2, correct?
I'm saying as a 2-1, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be 2 6s and a 10.
Yeah. Two holding mids, one guy in front. I mean, it's a similar formation to what I would coach as well. I like it. I always prefer to have 3 center mids. Because I'm just neurotic that way about the math and about, like, you'll notice Chelsea sometimes, especially when they're playing like Conte and Jorginho together, you'll notice that they're a man down, and they often are. Now, I know the 3-4-3 formation, you can look at it as the wing backs as another midfielder, but it's really not. Okay, you still are 2 men on an island there. If you're going against 3 midfielders, you're overwhelmed and you're outmatched. So, yeah, I mean, I would want to see us go with the 3 in the mid. Whether that's 2 attacking mids, 1 D mid, or 2 D mids, 1 attacking mid, I don't really care. But either way, I do want 3 in the midfield because there's just a lot more control and you're better defensively with the ball.
So what would it be? Zakaria and Kovacic with Havertz sitting in front of them, or?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I mean, just to see if it works out or not. I mean, throw your baby in the deep end, right? See if he swims. But the reality is that will he or won't he? That's entirely up to him. It's his decision. It's his choice to play better or to play worse. I don't know. But I do want to see it. Because if he's good and we want to keep him, I'd like to know earlier than later.
Right. We have a shopping
Here we
Marv.
go, guys. Here we go.
Jeez Louise on skis.
It seems to be better using the Wi-Fi from this place that I'm in, so hopefully this is going to be good.
What city are you in, Marvin?
Cabo San Lucas.
Oh wow. That's a destination of every 20-year-old college student, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You see them all the time. All those
I'm
American dudes going to Costco.
Got a Casco, yeah. I'm sure the entire economy is based around the debauchery and drunkenness of college students.
Oh, it really is. The Americans literally throw their money away here.
Oh yeah. It's that's a hell of a town.
Honestly, they spend everything. They go to the tourist places. They pay all the tips. Yes, sí, gracias.
And they all reinforce all the negative stereotypes about Americans. They just make us look terrible.
That's what we do.
You get a couple beers in us, and we'll get as obnoxious as hell, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I mean, there are several articles out there. What Potter's actually going to do, nobody knows. Just because he said so, or the feeling is, or he said that he likes certain players. You're not going to come into a new team and go, everybody's crap, because that's not the way that you do things. You come in and praise everybody until they get into training, and you actually watch them and go, okay, that's a little smelly. Maybe I don't want to do that. So I don't take any stock in any article or anything that they really say in public, because that's not always really what they think. Sometimes it's games. So I don't really buy into articles saying he wants this player, he wants that player, he's not going to play that player. We don't know. We've not seen it. We don't even know what formation. We're sitting here literally guessing at the formation because we have really no idea exactly what this man's going to pull out of his hat come Wednesday. We can have an educated guess, but we don't know any more than these articles that are being written know exactly who he wants to play and who he doesn't want to play. If indeed a lot of these players were bought with Potter's system in mind, or Potter in mind, then that would mean that Zakaria was also bought with his system in mind. Yeah. And why would you bring him in not to play him at all? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially since we actually have shown a real need in that positional group.
Jared, I just don't know. You can't say that one is going to be the same as the other. You can't, because we're not Brighton. It's a different team. There's different players. But I mean, I'm sure that as much as it can be replicated, we will try to replicate some of the things that they do, some of the patterns, but it's not all going to be a like for like comparison, because that's impossible. But I hope that it's a fusion of what we've done before, plus some of the stuff that he's doing now. Because again, we have better players in Brighton. And so we probably would expect more from our players than what he has had before. And again, I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. And again, just because some people start this first game or this first match doesn't mean that's going to be what we do necessarily going forward. It could be he wants to keep some cohesion within the team of players that have played lately. We don't know exactly, 5 days in, he's going to have a read on everybody and everything and every positional group on the team. So I myself would say don't read it too much into the lineup come Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's Wednesday's lineup.
No. I don't think it'll be the finished article. Certainly not. No, he's just getting his feet wet, Jared, for sure.
Yeah, and I think as performances go, and he sees what people can and cannot do in game situations. Yes, he has it on film, but has he actually watched them in person? You would think somewhat, but yeah, because he's watched the games that we played against Brighton, but I don't really think that he has in 5 days he'll have a full grip on who actually plays well on game day.
Yeah, and also I'm thinking more and more that this was done a lot earlier than last week. I think that this plan has been set in motion for a while. I think the Graham Potter has known for a while about Todd Bowley's intentions. And I think, more and more as I'm reading more of the tea leaves, as I'm reading more of the articles that have come out, I've come to the conclusion that Bowley probably made this decision a while ago. And it was Tuchel. Obviously, maybe he knew, maybe he didn't. I'm guessing he didn't. But it seems like everyone else did. And Tuchel was the odd man out, which in and of itself kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. I feel a little dirty with the way that it went down, but I do feel like this had been coming for a while.
Yeah, I think so. It's a matter of reading the tea leaves. And of course, with all of this coming out now, it makes the chaos somewhat of the summer of this person know them, and maybe it's not that person, it's this person that we're going to bring in. I think that all makes a little bit more sense now. As we've gotten reports that maybe these were somewhat the board because Tuchel was not giving them feedback, or maybe the people he wanted were just not going to happen. because he didn't follow through on them in some cases, according to what's been written and reported.
Like Koundé and Rafinha.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. If he says he wanted more control over the squad and more say, and then when it came down to it, he wasn't willing to put the time in, that's kind of a poor way to make up with to have an impression on your new owners.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do ever when you're actually, every day you're working for your job, because as soon as you're not useful anymore in any capacity and anything you do in life, you're out the door.
Yeah.
And don't deal with that.
And any time that he makes a mistake, it's going to be exaggerated and it's going to be magnified because Todd Boehly, already has a hit out on him, right? I mean, so, anything he does, he'll probably get punished twofold for it because he's not Boehly's guy. And I think in any takeover, in any acquisition, when there's a new owner, there's a new regime, you always have to pay attention to who's going to get fired and who is going to be kept. Because more often than not, if an owner spends, $5 billion, he's going to want his own guys. He's going to clean house and he's going to want his own people. And that is his right. That is his right to do that because it's his toy and he can play with it how he chooses. But at the same time, I mean, you have to understand that these are people's lives and it's very personal. Every job is very personal to people. But it doesn't take away from the fact that it's Boehly's call and he can do whatever the fuck he wants. If he wants to clean house, he can. And he did.
He did. So that actually closes the book on Roman Abramovich, other than some of the players that are here that were brought in under his leadership. So, but as far as board members and internal staff, 99% of those people are gone. It's a whole new show. So do you see I think that they really do want to put this game plan in place where they start playing a certain way, and that goes down to not only the academy, but they're also talking now of having feeder clubs like we have at Vitesse. They're going to have them in different countries, like RB, the Red Bull.
Salzburg, Red Bull, New York,
Red Bull, New York, Salzburg, and then you go to Leipzig. Of course, Man City has, New York City FC, NYCFC, and
I'm gonna have to call a little bit of bullshit on this. No, I know what it is. I know what Boehly's plans are. How many of these players are really going to be fast tracked from a sister club to Chelsea?
Well, it helps the sister clubs out as much as anything else because academy products can go both ways, right? They can also go down to the younger clubs to get their experience. So it actually helps both teams with a pipeline to really good high level players. So depending on where these feeder clubs are, and would be the probably the decision being made on how high of a prospect goes to each club. If it's MLS, are you going to send somebody that you want to play in Europe the next year, or do you want to keep them in Europe someplace like at a Bundesliga or something that just underneath the level of a Premier League?
Well, okay, if we were to buy a team like Atalanta, then I would understand it. And I would say, yeah, man, I mean, that makes total sense. But if we're going to go and buy a team like Fenerbahce, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, how many of those players are serious enough and have enough pedigree to play for Chelsea? Not many. But if we were to look at Atalanta, that's a different story. And it's just an example. I'm not married to that concept of Atalanta, but I don't know. I'm a little dubious of it because I always think about, how does this benefit the first team? I don't look at it as, this brings more money in for Chelsea. I don't really care about that. Chelsea's already wealthy, and we already have a bunch of sponsorship opportunities that we're setting up for the next couple of years. So I always just think, how does this benefit the first team? And if it's not benefiting the first team, it's not of great consequence to me.
So we got a negative Nancy So Bowley will get found out when Potter fails and is forced to back him in a relegation fight.
Oh, what the? I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? Who's HM? HM?
Yeah,
Get real, brother. These are great players on Chelsea. It's just they were mad at the coach. That shit happens. The coach pissed them off. Okay, bad harmony. You bring Potter in, mellow guy, progressive guy. They'll love him. They'll play for him. I'm not worried. Relegation fight. We're not Arsenal.
yeah. Look, folks. I'm very serious. I picked us to come in second, and
I still think we'll get second.
I still think we're going to get second. Be right there with City in the end.
Yeah.
The talent on this team is probably, I would say, the second most best talent in the league.
For sure.
From an entire squad. People say, well, no, it's Liverpool. Well, Liverpool has major holes in their squad in depth wise. We could always run through that. And as far as pure depth throughout the squad, I think Chelsea has the second best squad collection of players within the league. And I think that that'll tell this year, because now we're even in more crunch, because we're going to have a game moved into January sometime. That should have been played today or this weekend. So, it's going to come down to depth, because players are going to get injured in a even more compact season now. And, but, with all that being said, it kind of played in our hands. It's almost like Bowley knew what was going to happen this weekend. And so he looked like a freaking genius to do it this weekend and sack Tuchel and bring Potter in, because he gets basically the time he would have gotten if he would have done it on an international break, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whether we play the Liverpool game or not remains to be seen. I'm pretty curious about that myself. There's this. I want to address this. Thomas SW6. A lot of ballers in Turkey. Broaden your horizon. Not all talents are in Europe. I'm not being myopic. I'm not being regionalistic. I'm not. I'm saying that most of our talent does come from Europe, and that's just based on past experience and what we've done in the past. Says, okay, we should scout from South America. Well, we are. We're trying to bring in that Endrick kid from Palmeiras, and I think we'll probably land him. So, you got to be careful with players from South America, because there's a track record in the past of the burnout factor. Now, a lot of that is the culture of the sport itself in that country, where the kids, after school, they play all night. These kids are all at futsal all day, right? And so they put a lot of miles on their body at such a young age that by the time they're 28, 29, it's as if they've played the amount of football of a 35-year-old. It just happens sometimes with the particular Brazilian players. So you gotta be wary of that. I mean, they're all obviously very talented, but they play a little bit too much football when they're younger, and it affects them later in life.
Yeah, of course, you always have to take, and there's some in some sports they're kind of known of fudging birth certificates too.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at like the Dominican players for baseball. They burn those arms out so quickly. The pitchers, right? I mean, so it's just one of those things you always have to be wary about. It's like, how much football has this kid played up to 18 years old? Because more often than not, it's too much. So
yeah, every human has a number of miles they can put on knees and ankles in a professional manner, and once those minutes are up, you're done. You'll drop off the cliff. You'll start getting injured all the time. Does this sound familiar with anybody in the squad? I mean, Conte is now injured all the time because of all the games he's played. You look at Aspie; he's done because of all the games he's played. It's once you hit that limit you have on your body, you just have no more. You can do it for a little bit of time here and there, but you're not going to ever be that level ever again. And it's unfortunate, but age always wins out in the end. You only have a certain number of days that you can be a professional athlete, and when it's gone, it's gone. It's not ever coming back.
Yeah, I mean, just look at Tom Brady. Age, I think, has finally caught up with him. He looks old as shit. Yeah, this guy says, Silva's 38. Yeah, he also plays center back. He runs like 2.5 miles a game. He's jogging around the whole time. It is not wing. It is not attacking mid. He's playing center back. It's a low impact position in comparison to the more high energy positions on the field.
Yeah, that's true. And again, Thiago Silva will at one point he will look bad. And you're like, wow, he just had a bad game, and it'll end up, oh man, he's had a couple bad games, and then it's going to be he didn't have it anymore. It will happen to even Thiago Silva, even though he's been brilliant for us, and I hope that continues throughout the year. At a certain point, it'll happen to him too. It'll just stop. He won't be able to do the things he used to do anymore.
Yeah, great player,
and
legendary player.
Yeah, he's a great player. But so if we've said we're going to pick Zakaria and Kovacic, with Havertz in front of him in a midfield tree, with is it Cucurella or is it Chilwell that starts on the left wing?
Oh, it's Benny for me. It's always been Benny for me, man. I love Ben Chilwell.
So it's Benny and the Jets at left wing back. Yeah. Of course, RJ at right wing back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two up front. Are you talking about Aubameyang and Sterling?
Oh hell yeah! It certainly ain't Mount. It certainly ain't Mount.
Well, I
get the fuck out of here.
Do you think that he would play a 3-4-3 and then use Havertz on the right and have him come in inside all the time and fall underneath? And they can call it a 3-4-3 instead of a 3-4-1-2? Yeah,
I mean, or anybody, whichever flank on the weak side comes in as the other center mid. That way, the outside backs or the wing backs can get even higher up the field. Right, just that sort of spatial exchange. I mean, that's something I've done in the past, and it certainly works for dragging outside backs out of position. If Havertz is playing wide, and then the ball goes to the weak side and is switched out, he's going to drag a player with him, and it'll just open up more opportunities for Reece James. And if the player does not go with Havertz, it means he's open. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So what's the difference between the way Tuchel plays, and the difference the way that Potter plays?
Graham Potter's more vertical. They're more vertical.
So they're more direct to goal.
No, it's not. Direct is a pejorative term in modern football. That whole kick and run type thing. No, vertical in the sense where balls are they're bypassing the midfield lines more often, right? Instead of side to side, Potter's going to ask for the players to be more adventurous with the ball, that includes playing balls that are going to get picked off. You have to, if you want to play higher energy, more vertical football, you're going to have to be willing to make some mistakes and lose the ball a little bit.
So we're saying that everybody on in the defense in the midfield doesn't get to touch the ball before it gets played forward, right? Like we do now.
I would surmise that would be one of the side effects of Potter ball. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good side effect because you watch it move around now, and it's like each center back has to touch the ball. You can't even pass from one outside center back to the other. It has to go to the middle center back first. Yeah. It's this guy, then this guy, and it's like changing stations. It's like, well, okay, by the time we get done passing the ball around the back, they're going to be set up in defense and waiting for us to come down, and it makes it too hard to score. Like I said, sometimes you have to get some free ones, some easy. What they say in basketball is easy hoops on fast break.
Easy buckets, man. Get some singles. Get some singles.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You could do the same thing in this sport as well. Either by a high press, picking off a ball and going in from there, or by paying the ball long and like a Hail Mary in football. For those of us out there that want to liken some sports to other sports, that's the same way you can do it in this sport. Either quick ball over the top, a turnover in the opponent's half, and you get an easy bucket.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example of like this vertical ball. I mean, did you watch Napoli versus Liverpool? Napoli was ripped them to shreds with vertical passing. And that's not kick and run, long ball shit. It wasn't. It was pattern plays. And a lot of it was 1, 2, 3 on the ground. But the passes were progressive and they were up the field. And Liverpool was exhausted. 20 minutes into the game, they were running like crazy. They ran more in 20 minutes than they probably do in a whole EPL game. The Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. Okay, they were busted real quickly, and that comes with the territory. Like if you're going to play that way, defenders are going to have a really hard time because it's constant. They're constantly having to be on. They're constantly having to making decisions. And Trent Alexander-Arnold, more often than not, does not want to defend. So you'll catch teams like that sleeping if you play more vertical. And the better we get at it, the more often we're going to keep the ball well. Playing more attacking minded, and it's just going to take time because initially you're going to see a lot of dispossessions, but that's just par for the course.
Yeah, and we do have very direct players now on this team.
And
Aubameyang and Sterling, of course.
Pulisic, that's another one that will definitely benefit from Potter ball.
Yeah, I think so too. Who do you think will actually? You can say get found out or not do as well under Potter's system.
Ziyech.
You got Ziyech not doing well.
Yeah,
But
I think that he's. I think that his body has betrayed him, and his mind probably still thinks that he's 25 years old. But he has gone downhill significantly because when we first bought him, I thought he was a wonderful player, but. Yeah, the decline has been dramatic, and it's just going to get worse.
I'll have to highlight this one for you.
Wait, what's going on here? Oh, Jorginho. Hey, Josh. How about you come on, bro? How about you join us, Josh?
He's playing Papa.
He's playing Papa. You guys. Everybody just shits on Jorginho all the time. Oh, my God. He's the easiest target. He's the easiest target because he's slow. No, I get it. He is a liability defensively, but he also changed our team. In 2018, he changed our team completely. So I put some respect on his name, man. God damn. Well, even if he is in his last year and he does look cooked.
Yeah, and I like to see it be Zakaria, Kovacic with Havertz sitting in front of him.
Hell yeah.
Because Havertz then becomes the second striker, and for me that's his best position. And if you're gonna get anything out of him, it should be him playing along with Aubameyang, along with Broja.
Yeah.
So where does that leave Storeboy?
Christian Pulisic?
No.
Oh. Minerals? Vitamins Mount?
Yes.
Fuck Mason Mount, bro. I am not a fan. I'm so tired of this Mount exaggeration shit. You notice the proponents of Mount, they're louder than they ever have been because he's been playing the worst football of his career. So they feel so galvanized and obligated to defend their boy when their boy has been stinky, real stinky, the type of stinky where you need to take 3 showers to get it off yet. All right, he's been terrible. So Mason Mount, I'm sure he'd be a great water boy, dude. Lots of energy. So we could do that.
Yeah, I think that, again, we're talking about him and Connor probably being the two that are out the most because if we stay with the back three system, it doesn't fit their skill sets at all.
No.
None in the least bit.
Conor Gallagher, man. I wish that we had used him in a chip to get Zaha. I think that was a mistake that we didn't sell him.
Well, was that a Tuchel? Tuchel wanted him, and the board. I mean, I know that they did put out that Tuchel wanted to get rid of Broja, and the board wanted to keep him. Now, whether that's a true statement or not, I don't know. But it has been reported that he, for the Cobham stands out there, Bowley kept hold of Broja when Tuchel wanted him to go. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, it's interesting. Broja had 4 years left on his contract, and we just tore his contract up and gave him a new one. That's a pretty curious move. I think maybe it had a lot to do with how much he was making. If you look at like a player like Alan St. Maximin at Newcastle has all the money in the world. St. Max is like on 38,000 a week. So I feel like maybe that was a situation where Broja was making less money, and they just tore up the contract and gave him a new one.
Well, yeah, that could be it. Of course, we do have a precedent setter in Callum Hudson-Odoi. So now everybody wants 120K a week for doing nothing.
That's madness. That is madness.
Well, that's where it all started from. That's why Tammy's not on this team. That's why Broja wanted to go. You can say what you want, but people's perception is from the academy that if I can do 4 goals and 12 assists in 4 years, then I can get 120K a year. It's a goal and 3 assists a year. Some center backs have that in 1 year.
Yeah.
We're talking about an offensive player. So I understand. I mean, you gave that cat 120K a week. If you don't know, we're talking about the COVID.
The coronavirus.
The coronavirus.
The Cholona.
My Chirona.
Shout out Reality Bites. Great movie. Great Texas movie. Great Texas movie.
Yeah, Chalva had 3 goals last year, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's why some of these academy players are no longer with us. That's fine with me. I don't care if you come from the academy. I don't care where you come from, as long as you can play and help us win. I could care less.
Yeah.
I'm not too bothered by it. I'm supposed to be a Chelsea fan, not for a fan of the players at Chelsea, not of the manager at Chelsea, but Chelsea Football Club. So if you're not Chelsea, you're not in my purview.
It's pretty astounding how many fans are just fans of players, not actually fans of the club. They'll actually prioritize the player over the success of the club. That is insanity to me.
No, HM, you would be wrong. This is a false statement. Byron did not dictate his wage.
No.
This is Waffle. Bayern is one of the most well-run clubs in the world.
Yeah.
Okay? They have to be because of the way Bundesliga runs. They didn't offer the wage or the transfer fee that everybody quotes. It wasn't 80, it wasn't 40. Not for a player that just came off Achilles tendon surgery.
No.
They didn't offer it. So what it was is a lot of waffle from the camp. And they didn't want to lose another young player, so they overpaid him. It's not his fault for blowing smoke. It's the people in charge at times fault for accepting the smoke and giving him the freaking contract.
Yeah.
So do I blame Callum for getting that contract? No, you're supposed to get yours, right? That's what I've always heard. Go get yours. So he went and got his.
Secure the bag, bro. Secure the bag.
He did. No, that is bullshit. It's been proven to be bullshit. Quit quoting bullshit articles. Byron already came out and said it is not true. We never offered 80 million pounds for Callum Hudson-Odoi, and then we're going to give him the 10 shirt. Not for a kid that just came off an Achilles tendon surgery. Yeah. Please stop that nonsense.
Yeah, Bayern never spends a ton of money. Like the biggest acquisition they've ever had is Matthias de Ligt, right? And that was, I don't know, 70 million or something like that.
70 million euros.
Yeah. Normally Bayern spends 30 million on players. And that's just, they've always been financially prudent. It's just the way that they are. And it's the way Oliver Kahn runs the show. And it's the same with his predecessor. They all are, same with the guy before him. They were all, they are all very financially prudent. So no, 80 million for Choke. Get the fuck out of here.
So look, whatever was said was said. He got his money, and that has set the wage expectation for young players on this team. Whether you whatever story you want to put there, his wage does set the precedent for kids that age coming in and doing a whole lot of nothing to get that kind of contract. Whether whose ever fault it was, you can't. If you don't want to blame Callum for asking for it, I'm certainly not. Get what you can get while you can get it. And so, but to say that it doesn't affect other players on the team is a nonsense.
There's a question right here that says, "Do you think Christian Pulisic has a clean slate right now?" No, I don't, because he's been so overt about prioritizing the World Cup over his club. This is the constant quotes from him, interviews suggesting that he is a hell of a lot more concerned about just being ready for Qatar than actually focusing on Chelsea. And I'm sure that is the same for other players, but they haven't been so vocal about it. And I think he's a great player. I really, really do. But I don't like the guy. I don't like Pulisic, the dude. I think he's really annoying. And I think he lacks some serious self-awareness, because everybody in the national team kisses his ass. Everybody in America kisses his ass. And, every football show in America, there's always a segment on Pulisic. Every day there's one segment on Pulisic, like clockwork. And, I don't like where his head has been. I think that there's a reason why he hasn't been playing a lot. He hasn't been putting his priorities right. And maybe he prioritizes Chelsea more now. I don't know. But I also know that he wasn't, crying any tears when Tuchel was fired.
I don't think a lot of people were.
Yeah.
Look, it is what it is on that point. I'm not going to blame any players for getting them fired. I think that, there were some players that went to ownership. Happens every time, once the dressing room starts turning on you, players are going somewhere to speak about what they need to speak about. And it's not to the manager, because they don't believe in or trust the manager anymore. So it's usually the manager's boss, who in this case would be the owners, because there's not a director of football.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future it'll be a director of football, but this happens all the time. In any job you have in life, and I hope everybody here takes this to heart, it's up to you to still keep your job every day, every week. It's not a given since you got hired that you're going to keep your job. I know there are countries like that, but most of the world, if you don't do your job, you're out the door. And in the owner's mind, Tuchel was no longer doing good at his job. He wasn't doing it to the satisfactory point, and they let him go. And that's all that needs to be said about it. There is no reason to sit here and opine about, why did we let him go? Who's at fault? And did this person do this or this person? He's gone. There is nothing that's going to change that. We have a new manager. Accept it, move forward, and try to get in some enjoyment. Because I guarantee all these people who are pissing and moaning right now, if he gets close to winning a title, win some trophies this year, they're all going to be Tuchel who. That's what's going to happen. Because if you're getting this upset about a manager when you're supposed to be supporting a football club, some would wonder what is going on with you. I mean, I hate to be this harsh about it, but stop. You're supposed to be a Chelsea fan, not a Tuchel fan, not a player fan. Name a player. I don't care who. You're supposed to be about the badge. That's what everybody's supposed to be here about. And we're talking about people crying over the manager leaving. Crying.
Lewis just tweeted essentially he's crying right now about he's publicly crying about Tuchel leaving. Oh, good old Lewis. Funny guy. Look, there's this right here. It says, why don't you call out Pulisic and Ziyech for sabotaging Tuchel? I did call him out. I called him out the day that Tuchel got fired. I did exactly that. Okay? I mean what I say. I'm a serious person when it comes to this football club. Okay, and I absolutely said Ziyech and Pulisic were two of the people responsible for Tuchel's ouster. Now, let's be clear, Tuchel was also responsible for it because he was not focused. He was saying some really unprofessional things publicly. I think privately, if that meeting that he had with the players, asking them if they want to leave, if that happened as well, that's a fireable offense. All these things, this confluence of events, bad results, which is not the number one thing, but it is a contributing factor. Bad results, bad attitude by Tuchel, a breakdown in the relationship between the players and the manager, and the club and the manager, and the executive branch and the manager, and the staff and the manager. All those things coming together, your ass is grass. You will not keep your job if all that shit happens.
Yeah, and like I said, I named 3 strikes that Tuchel had against him the other day. If you didn't watch me, go back and watch that video. But basically, it was he fell out with the board over transfers. That's 1 strike. He fell out with the team with some players on the team. That's 2 strikes. And the performances were bad. That's 3 strikes. 3 strikes and you're out. You're done out here. You can say, why didn't I call Pulisic and Ziyech out? I didn't call anybody out for Frank getting fired. And there were reports that Rudiger and all everybody else and Alonso were at the board about Frank, because that's what players do. It's the manager's job to keep all that in check. The manager's not doing their job. It's time to go. So no, I'm not going to call any players out. Number one, because I've not seen a credible report saying that neither one of those players went to the board and talked to them about firing Tuchel. There's been no credible reporting. It's assumed that those were the players. We don't know. So I'm not going to get on anybody's case. Tuchel lost his job because of Tuchel. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't help that the players didn't like him anymore, but the players didn't like him anymore because he pissed them off. You can't lose the dressing room and expect to keep your job. It is part of the natural progression of a job cycle. Once you lose the dressing room, once you lose games, you're fucked. That's it. And that is on Tuchel. And he can say on Twitter that he's surprised, that he's heartbroken, devastated. But if he didn't see this coming, he probably wasn't paying attention enough. And that could be another reason why he was fired, was because his focus was not there. You know, he was hanging out on yachts with his sexy girlfriend instead of doing his job. And that's fine. I support people that have work-life balance, of course, but it did not seem like he was very focused on his job. And it's a big job, and whoever has it should cherish it and not betray it.
Yeah, this is a fair point, Bobby. He has been last half of last year wasn't great. And look, there's extenuating circumstances, of course, in his own personal life as well with the club and getting sanctions. And I did express that yesterday or Friday as well, that in any relationship, when something extreme happens in that relationship, it's mostly for the bad, that can destroy a relationship completely. It's like when a couple is married and they lose a kid, that can destroy a relationship. Not to say that this is anything like losing a loved one, but the stress that he was under both in his personal life and at the club because of the sanctions probably led to what happened this summer and why he's not here. Of course it did.
Yeah, of course.
So nobody's 100% to blame for Tuchel not being here. Okay? There's enough blame to go around when a relationship fails.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you could ask every single one of my ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, so it is what it is, but he's not here anymore. There's nothing that can be done about that. We're moving forward. We're looking forward to the Potter regime, the Potter reign, the Potter era, the Pothead. Whatever you want to say.
Potterball. I mean, shit, dude. We just hired the hottest coaching prospect in European football. We're going to be fine. The players are going to love this guy. They're going to love his football. And it won't take long, if at all, before they just start playing inspired again. It's going to be a little messy. All growing pains happen with new managers, but at the same time, yeah, these players are going to come out with their hair on fire.
Look who's back.
Yes, I am back. The king is back. Everyone should rejoice. Throw roses at my feet.
Marvin.
Hello, guys.
Marvin.
How you doing,
Yeah,
brother?
we've been waffling on here talking about Tuchel being sacked.
Yeah.
And not to quit worrying about the details behind it. Just
Yeah.
accept that it happened and get ready for Potter. Your
But I
thoughts
think-
on all that?
But I think the details for some people will actually matter because some people always want closure about why something happened, right? So it's, later on. For me, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I liked him a lot. I still like him now. But I think, I was one of the people that did think it was time. I didn't voice that so much on Twitter because of the abuse that comes that way. But I was leaning that way after the Leeds game. I gave him the benefit of the doubt because there were new players and everything. But then when the Southampton game come, and I analysed what was happening. We played bad in every single match apart from one, and even that we bottled in the last seconds. It wasn't looking good. And the game that I went to was a very telling sign. The last time I hadn't been for 2 years, so you'd expect I would just be excited to be there. But after 30 minutes, I was on my phone. The game was slow. The football was bad. Then you can give some leeway because of the red card, and they come back brilliantly in that second half. But again, we were relying on individuals to get us out of the hole. In particular, Loftus-Cheek and Thiago Silva, that were amazing. Potter was the guy that I wanted. I will say that. And I heard you talking about the formation a little bit when I was in the grocery store. If you noticed recently, I checked something recently that he'd been playing one centre-back, and the other two centre-backs were more like wide players to receive the ball, which allowed the wing-back to stay on the touchline and get further forward. So I think we can look forward to a rejuvenated team playing a rather kind of similar-ish formation. But like you said before, Jesters, we don't actually know this. And that is a point that nobody knows. He's going to make Jorginho captain, or he's going to pick Mount every game, or stuff we just do not yet know. But as far as Tuchel concerned, unfortunately, it probably was time. I'm normally one of the guys that supports the sackings. Quite a rare fan, I would say. It's only been one or two I didn't really like. Yeah, but it's sad. It's very sad. And if Potter fails, this will be my ID on the line because I kept posting GIFs of him when we were having bad games because I like the way Brighton plays. There are a lot of stats that I posted the other day that their XG performance, I know it's not the actual game, so it's not the same representation, but if we are going by the expected goals, you would imagine a stronger team is going to perform well with that. So if you look at it, they would have come fourth last season, 1 point above Tottenham, and that is in one of the most competitive leagues, if not the most competitive league season that we've had, with us playing well, Liverpool with nearly 90 points, and Man City with 90 points. So that's quite impressive. And if you look at some of the XGs that they had against the better teams, they often were better, including games against us. If you remember how Brighton played against Chelsea, made me really want Cucurella more. But actually, maybe Cucurella was not the only one. Maybe it was the coaching, maybe it was the way the team was set up. So I think we've made the change that I would have done, albeit painful for many fans to admit.
Yeah, you're such a millennial, Marvin. Being on your phone at fucking Stamford Bridge.
Oh, only briefly to complain about Gallagher.
I know you were probably texting me.
Yeah,
Gallagher stinks.
Oh, man, he had a bad performance there. What was he doing?
He's just been bad.
Yeah.
Are we expecting a different looking team come Wednesday? Is that the feeling between? That's my feeling. How about you, Carlito?
Yeah. Dude, anybody that says they know what's going to happen is just fucking lying. Nobody knows, but I think that's part of the thrill of it. I love regime changes. I loved it when Antonio Conte was sacked because he's a saboteur and he's the worst.
Come on.
And so I'm always excited, man. It's a new era. And this is one of the most exciting young managers. I think 47 is still considered young in coaching. One of the most exciting young managers in the game. And I think it's going to be great.
sacked our only Premier League manager since 2016 and replaced him with the guy that barely scraped fourth, bro. That was not a good decision.
Sorry ball changed the team forever.
Maybe it did. Maybe it did for the way that we started playing out the back and playing in between the lines. And it might be slightly represented in some of the ways that we play now, possibly.
Well, certainly, absolutely, especially when Jorginho plays.
So, Bobby, on this point, it's because their players they had Neil Mopay up front. That dude can't score in a whorehouse on free day. I'm telling you, he ain't it. He ain't it at all.
But yeah, he raises a valid point though that is a similar problem to what
it is. No, that is correct. But I think it's their issue on that end was the poor players in those positions.
Yeah,
like a Neil Mopay, a Danny Welbeck.
Yeah, are you expecting Brighton to be prolific?
No.
Yeah. I think all a coach can do is put you in a position to succeed. It's still up to a player to succeed, and they're more apt to try it if they fuck with the coach. If they don't fuck with the coach, then it ain't gonna happen.
And you could argue the bigger picture here. Sorry to interrupt if you were about to talk.
You're good.
The bigger picture of this is to this comment that says they don't score. That's why they finished where they did. Well, it's one of the reasons why they finished where they did. The best position they've ever finished in their history. So you take that into consideration. You're ignoring the first two phases of play, which is the defense, where every single defender is improved, despite the fact they lost defenders. They lost players as well. So, for example, Ben White went, and they've lost players consistently, and yet the team continues to grow. So if we're only highlighting one specific area that they don't score, we don't score any goals, but that's to the detriment of us because we should score goals. We've got world-class players. They do not. And that's where Brighton and Chelsea are very different.
You got no love for Danny Welbeck? Danny the God? Absolutely
not. He's one of my least favorite players I've ever watched. He gets the ball and runs into the corner flag. I have no idea how Potter's made him a player. Kick and rush player.
Yeah, Potter's a coach. Potter's not a manager. Potter's a coach. Potter improves players.
And he played well the other day.
Welbeck? Dude, Welbeck's had a good season, man. He's had a good season. It's so interesting. I mean, this is the last time anybody ever talked about Brighton this much was when Brian Clough was there for a couple of weeks. Nobody talks about Brighton, but yet Graham Potter put him on the map. So, there's a reason why he's now at Chelsea. He deserves the job. He's been great, and he was never going to get this opportunity again. Not at a club of this size. And I think it's going to be a good marriage.
Yeah, I think so. I think that everybody should be positive. Yeah. If you're coming into this thing going, oh crap, Chelsea's done. Find a new club. Seriously, because it's not normal to find something to be negative about all the time. It's just not healthy, and it's not normal for you in your real life. People just do something to be happy, and if it's not Chelsea, find some other team that makes you happy because this negativity is just going to make your life miserable. And why would you want to do that?
Marvin doesn't like it when I say go support Man City. Every time I see negativity online, I'm like, fuck you, go support Man City.
Be an easier life, wouldn't it?
It's also it would also be an artifice. I mean that's just fake fandom right there, dog.
Yeah, that's the point though. It's impossible to just go and support another team because maybe for maybe some of the young fan base, but it's impossible to change a team that you've supported for 20 plus years. It's just not. Yeah. You might want to do it, but it's impossible to actually do it.
Yeah, I had this buddy Henry. We called him a rude boy. He was from I think St. Vincent. Dreadlocks, the whole deal, really cool guy. And about 4 or 5 years ago, he just switched allegiances. He was this diehard Arsenal fan. Every single time I would see him, whether we played men's league together, we played pickup, or we'd just be hanging out, he would always have an Arsenal jersey on. It would be like Santi Cazorla or
what a
Ramsey.
player.
Yeah, because all those was dope. And and then one day he's just like, you know what, guys? And he sat us all down like there was some serious thing. He's like, I'm going to become a Liverpool fan. And I looked at him like, Henry, what the fuck are you doing? What's wrong with you? And then 2 years later, they won the league. So there you go.
Well, I guess if you're going to make the switch, right? Buy them when the stocks are down.
Best time to do it.
There you go.
When I chose my basketball team, that hasn't yet. I bought the stocks in Orlando Magic, and they still haven't matured yet. So.
Man,
you're gonna that's never gonna happen for you. I remember when they had Shaq and Penny, and got drilled by Hakeem Olajuwon.
They invented what's now a pretty standard style of play that Golden State has made. But no, it's just the 4 guys in the out, 1 center, bunch of threes. JJ Redick, Rashard Lewis, Tito Turkoglu. Yeah, great team in the late 2000s actually.
How are our comments doing? Sorry, I'm just looking through some of the comments. What have we responded to all of these? I see one there that's quite controversial.
Oh yeah, what's it say?
Somebody says, does he, without and European pedigree, standards have fallen? Thomas SW6. With a picture of Zoomer, and he's talking about fallen standards.
I wasn't going to say nothing, but yeah, you got a catch kicker.
Okay, well, hey, Thomas SW6, would you have rather we hired Mauricio Pochettino? Because if you would have rather that we hired Mauricio Pochettino, then you should probably hang up.
I'd be interested to see what the alternatives or the ideas were of some of these people, because you either stick with what it's going like and run the risk of what I thought was going to happen, is that we were just not going to improve and it was going to happen further down the line, or you pick a coach that's proven and you end up with football like the one that Allegri plays, which I don't think we want that anymore. Or we pick like someone like Zidane, who, by the way, only has a little bit of pedigree with a world-class team, which has got like fail written all over it. Or you pick a guy that is doing amazing with his team, has done it for 3+ years, who has a potential for growing teams according to all the metrics. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does, we end up with the best football, which we haven't had for a while, and it ends up with potentially overtaking Liverpool and City when Pep leaves, because I don't think he's going to be there for that much longer.
I think Julian Lopetegui was probably one.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad job. But can he speak English?
I don't even think so. I don't even know.
Lopetegui lost his job at Sevilla.
Yeah, no, but he's a good manager.
I mean, he couldn't get Sevilla to do anything. And if Sevilla played Brighton, I would put my money on Brighton to win.
Didn't he win the Europa League with Sevilla?
Not this go around with. Didn't he get brought it back recently? I'm not totally sure.
Hold on, it may be Villarreal. You may be.
No, because Sevilla won 3 times.
You're talking about good evening.
No, that's Emery. But I think Lopetegui won something with them. I might be wrong, and I might be just getting this miles off.
He won the Europa League in 2020.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he won the Europa League. So he's got pedigree.
He beat Inter Milan.
Yeah, where Lukaku scored an own goal.
Lukaku.
Yeah, I'm not.
He did score an own goal. Oh my God!
He scored a penalty. You thought, okay, he's not bottled for the first time in his life, and then he scores an own goal, and they lose 2-1.
Oh wow! What a
that's why you don't have a striker being the last person on the line, because they're used to putting the ball in the net, not keeping it out.
Well, that's kind of like how he plays anyway, isn't it? Keeping it out. So
yeah. But I think that Graham Potter is going to be fine.
Oh yeah,
I think he's going to do an excellent job. I think that in a few months we'll be looking back to those people who were like, "Oh, we're doomed," and going, "Oh, what's up now?" They're going to be one cheering louder. Oh, it was always Potter in. I thought I knew Potter from the beginning was going to be the man. That's what you're going to hear, and you're like, "Okay, well, let me bring up some tweets real quick." Oh, well, really?
You can always see them as well. When you see the first post of like welcome, Tuchel, it gets brought back and you see everyone's comments in there. So you can always keep receipts. And if you don't, you can always screen grab them and stuff like that. But I think that he will be very good. I actually think this will change the system. But if not, and the thing that I'm concerned about is if it goes bad at the beginning. if it goes bad at the beginning and it's not getting there still, I feel there's going to be a lot of unrest against the ownership and stuff like that, just because of what they've done. Yeah, I mean, they've banked a lot on the fans being behind this decision and their new data-led approach and everything when they, don't have football experience. I would trust them myself personally, because obviously we look at what they've done with the baseball team and they're doing great. And whilst it's contrary to popular belief that it's a different sport and all that stuff, I do believe those kind of business acumens and skills are actually transferable.
They are.
Oh, absolutely they are. So why am I forecasting when I do know the future, actually? You don't know this, but I'm from the future.
Yeah.
I was a robot sent back in time.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing, I could have forecast, and I did forecast back in 2014, or which was it, 14 or 15, when Jose won the league, that was the best it would ever get for Kurt Zuma. And that was forecasted correctly.
Yeah. We both hang out with Doc Brown and Marty and gun that DeLorean to 88, baby. Yeah, we know the future.
And I think the future is that when we're in this particular group we're in and we lose the first game, we win Champions League. Did you know that? Were we in Group F or E?
Oh yeah, we who did we lose to?
What season?
It was
we only won
Porto.
twice.
We was Porto. We lost to Porto.
With Mourinho?
No. With Lampard.
We got knocked out by Barcelona or Bayern Munich.
No. But in the group,
when we won.
When Tuchel took over.
Yeah, Luis Diaz.
No, I don't remember. I think we lost to Porto in the second leg in the knockouts.
Fuck, I can't remember. It's too long. It's too long ago.
We played Krasnodar. I remember Krasnodar.
All right. Well,
we beat Sevilla and drew with Sevilla, and we played Krasnodar. I don't know who the third team was, but they couldn't have been that good.
Well, I think that's our history with this group. It really doesn't matter. It'll be what it will be.
It was Rennes.
Oh,
Rennes.
Mendy.
Yeah, and we beat Rennes twice. We won 3-0 and 2-1. We had a bad draw against Krasnodar, and we drew at home to Sevilla, and we won the other games.
What about in 2012?
Oh, that's hard. I think we come second in our group.
Yeah, that was a while ago, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! All right,
Valencia. I remember we played Valencia, and because we had to beat them in the last game to go to the knockout.
So we lost. So we did not, Marvin. We did not lose a game in the group stage.
In 2012?
No, in 2020.
Yeah, we didn't lose a single game. We drew 2 and we won the rest.
Yeah. Goal differential 12. That's nice.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's going to happen this year.
we won on. The thing is, I don't understand what went so wrong with Tuchel, because when we were playing in the Champions League and we won it, we actually did XG every game in the knockouts, where different to 2012, where we were miles off and we got really lucky. So I don't see, and he used to be a king of XG, Tuchel's games, and this season, what's happening? 0.4, 0.6, really scary. What was happening?
Yeah, it's been bad football.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because we talked about the Juve game and how horrible the football looks from Allegri. Do you see Tuchel maybe taking on that position?
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, if Juve doesn't actually, do anything this year.
If you're asking me first, I would say, if I was Tuchel, I would wait for other potential jobs that are coming up, because there's a certain team in Germany that have drawn 3 games in a row. I think would be a much better.
Oh, you think they're going to get rid of Nagelsmann?
I think it's possible. If you're looking at them, I didn't see the games, but I see that they have drawn 3 games in a row. And in the Bundesliga, if you're Bayern and you're drawing against all these other farmers, then you've got trouble. I think Nagelsmann is a hipster coach. I don't think that he's as good as people say he is. I watched some of the games before he went there, and I was never overly impressed.
I think he's cool. I like that he wears like nice like dinnerware on the side. Like, looks like he's taking some.
Does he get knives and forks and stuff?
No. He's like wearing like high fashion on the side.
Okay, evening wear.
Got his eyelashes done too, didn't he? He got his eyelashes done. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Nagelsmann is funny.
Yeah.
If you ever heard his post game pressers, he is very funny. I like him. His football's okay, but I think he's a funny guy.
Yes, big up Jester and Marv from Redneck Blue. Thank you very much.
Yeah, not big up Ryan, not big up Carlito.
Is that dude?
That
the Russian dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Cheers, cheers, man.
Yeah.
Actually, you need to follow me again. I haven't got your new account. I didn't recognize that one.
I'll just say it right now, Alex. My bad for last night. I was a jerk. My apologies, buddy. My apologies.
What other comments we got here that we didn't talk about? I hope to see Brozier in the starting lineup. So do I, but I think now I'm not sure if that's going to happen straight off the bat.
Yeah, no, I think he'll play. I think he'll get game time because I think that he gives you the movement that you're going to want if you're going to play direct balls over the top to be able to hunt those balls down and hold on to them. I think he's one of the. I don't really see that as Havertz's strong suit. He's more of a second striker. So for me, our only two strikers I really see out and out strike nines. What I see are gonna be Brozier and Aubameyang.
Yeah,
That's just the way I see it, especially since we're not gonna get anything out of Ziyech.
No. Well, you might get something out of him, but I think it'll only be about 2 to 3 million.
No, I'm talking about from playing point of view.
Marvin made a funny.
I actually don't mind him. I mean, I thought he was a good player. I don't see what the hell went wrong. And it's not just him as well. I would come back. I don't know if you've talked about it on the show yet, but I don't Mount like the past 2 seasons, right? If he played bad, he still scored the goals. And Havertz, if he didn't score the goals, he still played well. And if you're looking at both of them two now, they've stunk the pitch out every single match. And not just Ziyech, not just Ziyech. There's been lots of really bad performances. And I don't understand why players don't get terrible in the space of a day. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Mount anyway, but he wasn't this bad.
Do you think he downed tools to get to Tuchel's side? If we're gonna go there,
it's just such a strong allegation. You look at it objective. If you look at it from the outside, not a Chelsea fan, if you just look at it from a pure sporting perspective, it's such a strong allegation to say that players dogged it.
Yeah,
but you could say from that with the minutes he's put in this year and the performances he player of the season last year to dude can't do anything right this year. What else? I mean, if you were to look for actual evidence more than I think there's only certain players that got the minutes that you could look at and go, okay, if it was somebody who got minutes and wasn't performing, was that person downing tools over somebody who wasn't playing and going to the bosses? So which one, or was it a combination of both?
I don't know. Go ahead, Marv.
I just think it's too easy to say somebody downs tools because it does happen. Of course it happens. But I always think that what it is just they're not happy. And when you're not happy, you don't play as good as you do when you are. I don't think there's anything sinister in. I don't think there ever has been. I know player power is a thing. But the idea about someone professional at this level sabotaging the team or, deliberately not playing, I just don't think that really exists. And to Josh's point there, I see him did that coming up there. You can point at any attacker. I don't think you can exactly. I don't think you can point at Brozier. You certainly can't point at Aubameyang. And I don't think, and it might be unpopular, but I don't think you can really point it at Pulisic. because, and I'll give you my argument for that, is that Pulisic, whenever he's played, how many games did he get starting at left wing? I don't think there's been any. He's been shoved on the wing back role. He's been shoved out wide in the right. And I know a lot of people want to kind of blame him, but, I think the starting ones have to take the brunt of it, to be honest.
Yeah, last time I ever thought of somebody associated with Chelsea sabotaging Chelsea was Antonio Conte. But as with players, I don't know. It's kind of hard to do, man, because people will shit on you if they notice that you are not giving 100%. So maybe it's just a psychological thing where they're all just very disgruntled, and I don't know. Maybe their super ego is fucking with them, but subconsciously. I mean, I don't know, but it's. I do know that there was a serious lack of harmony in the dressing room, and there was a lot of tension. I could feel it in my plums, lots of tension, and it just didn't help, man. It just made everything worse. It compounded, and it got worse and worse every week. And the manager became more and more distressed, and you could just the tension was palpable. You could feel it emanating off of Tuchel.
Yeah, and I think it was time to go. The old saying. I think it was, when something starts going, something catches on fire, you can do one of two things. You can let the fire burn out and destroy everything it's burning, or you can call the fire department to put it out. Those are your two choices. Okay.
The Ziyech performance, by the way. Oh yeah.
It was pretty.
There's
smelly.
one. You go back. Did you watch that? Oh my God. Oh my! It was like so overt.
I know it was almost as bad as Antony is for Man United. It's really, really. But I see another comment on here. Did dude just say power play player power doesn't exist? No, I did not say this.
He did not say that.
No, it does exist. Of course, it exists. Yeah. But I don't think that players deliberately down tools. I think there's a lot more to it than that. As I said, I think if we all think about even when we played amateur games, if we were not happy, we never played well. We never played as well as we did when we were.
I was never like that. I just enjoyed playing. So I went out there and went, led with my head and went face first every time.
You're from a different generation. You're from a different generation that just played and played. We're from a generation where we got to get the coach out fast.
We?
We're the same age.
I'm 34.
I'm 32 years. A Geico commercial.
2 years. 2 years difference there, Marvin. All right.
I mean, that was just me. I played for some coaches I could outcoach. I played for them, and I was a better coach than they were. I knew what I was doing. They didn't. But it is what it is. They were the coach, and they told me to go right. I went right. It's just that's the way I'm wired. I did my first coach in high school was playing soccer was female. I had a female coach, and to coach boys back in that day and age was different than nowadays. Way different. She ended up being an FBI agent. Just to round that story off, she ended up being an FBI agent. So,
Jesus.
But so but I still respected her because she was my coach. It's the way
you had a female coach. How about that?
Yeah, I had a female coach.
Interesting.
That was my first soccer coach in high school.
Cool.
So it is what it is.
Josh just said prohibition ball. Oh man, that's brutal.
That's actually quite funny.
It's some boardwalk Empire ball. Oh my gosh.
Baby ball.
I see you. That's all right, bud.
The roaring 20s. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Yeah, I played when I played my first game. It was in black and white. Yeah, I was black and white.
And it was with that big leather ball with the stitches on the side.
Yeah, he was wearing the pants that came up to his belly button too. The ones that are.
I had knickers on. Yeah. I wasn't wearing shit.
Yes. Oh, that's great. Oh man, those parachute pants.
Hey, shout out to the birthday girl.
Hey,
Tuesday. Happy birthday, Miss Melina. Best Arsenal fan on the planet.
Yeah, buddy.
Don't get used to being top of the league.
Yeah, really.
I'm glad you said you defined what you were saying there.
Of the league, of course. Another one said, another comment here about, I think that Graham will play Mount deeper like he did with McAllister. I think there's a big difference though, isn't there? That McAllister is much more of a creative style player, so maybe it works better like that. I'm not sure if I think Mount's better in a 3, obviously in the midfield, but I'm not sure if it worked the same way.
Wow. I don't want to see him on the field. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see Aspi. If I see Aspi,
Gallagher.
there's gonna be trouble.
There's a lot of people you don't want to see.
Al Capone ball. Oh my god!
Well, in Al Capone ball, they shoot on sight, don't they?
That's what we did. Although I was probably later years Al Capone because I always got shot at.
You can imagine the Twitter at that time at Gangster Ball.
Syphilis ruined my life. Paul.
No, come on, man. We have to go. We have to go there, man.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, look. Mount for me is he's an 8. If you don't play with an 8, there's no reason to have him out on the field because he's limited in other areas. Running and intensity is not a skill.
Yeah.
That's what less talented players do to stay on a team.
When I went on Lewis's call show this morning, and I asked him if Tony Minerals was actually serious about the things he says.
Really?
And
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto?
And guess what? He said that Minerals is totally serious about it. He's totally he's rolling with stuff. These Mount guys.
Well,
yeah, you sound like a robot, though.
Yeah, I could hear that too. That wasn't just me, was it, hearing that?
No.
I wanted to say that I think that, running is it's not a skill, but to press and to work hard off the ball is not something that every player can do, contrary to some beliefs. I mean, just look at Lukaku, for example. Even if he tries, he turns at the speed of a truck. There is an intricate quality to pressing and playing like that. However, I know what you mean, what you said before about those players have to work harder to stay in the team because that's how I played. And that's pretty much what I had to do, is to work harder to make myself more useful. Sorry about the noise. That's Diego in the background.
Shut that baby up! Shut that baby up!
He believes that his daddy is the best player in the world. But I had to work hard off the ball and all that stuff too. So,
Diego, it's delusional confidence.
He's going to be the best.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Well,
send Uncle Carlito, coach.
I will.
Yeah, buddy.
Are you going to scar that kid for life?
If players thought Tuchel was harsh, I'll tell you what, man. He spent one day.
Why are you crawling on that ground? I'm only one. Quit eating that dirt.
One ball goes long. He's like, "That's it. Get off of my field."
Everything's defeat. Everything is defeat.
But I used to do that too. If anyone longed it over the top, I would literally just stop it and send it straight back to the beginning again.
Yeah, you gotta play on the ground. It's the easiest way to move the ball.
Yeah, you go doing more than Malang Sarr. Well, yeah, maybe he could fill in for. I mean, he's only like 3 foot. He's quite long and tall at the moment, but probably picks the ball up a lot, so he might be better in goal. I don't know.
You're gonna raise a goalkeeper? Oh man, brutal.
The next Slanina.
I am. My grandkid's gonna be a huge dude.
Oh yeah.
So, yep, he's already 3 foot, 1 year old.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm telling you. We're gonna have a 6'5" goalkeeper in the house. I'm already calling agents.
Did you see Hazard started at the 10 or at the false 9 today? Interesting.
Hazard needs to hang the boots up, man.
Yeah,
Go
bro.
for McDonald's. Get a quarter pounder of cheese with that ass.
Hey, you want to talk about a player that is whose body is betrayed?
Did we just lose Ryan?
No. Okay. Well, I just found out from my wife that actually Diego is predicted to end up being 189 centimeters tall. I don't know how tall that is, but I'm fairly tall and my wife's fairly tall too. So there is a potential he could be a goalkeeper.
Yeah. Hey, center back. Tuchel likes tall midfielders.
Well,
Not Tuchel, but
Tuchel's
Potter.
Yeah, got to get him in. But if he's tall, I mean, so how tall is Slonina? How tall is Slonina?
6'5".
Oh yeah, so that's a good. There is a lot of promise about him. His recent, I didn't see the game, but his SOFA score the other day was like 9.7 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he's going to be a good kid, and which is great for us because we need a young up and coming keeper. Because I don't think we have the starting keeper we need in the squad right now. Neither Mendy or Kepa do it for me. We need somebody who is big like Mendy, but has the quickness and ball playing skills of Kepa. Good luck finding one of those.
Yeah, that's one problem he's already got because he likes to play with Sanchez as like an auxiliary defender, doesn't he? So, I mean, will he bring Kepa back? That's probably the best question. Will he bring Kepa back in or will he persevere with Mendy? It's quite hard to think about. By the way, you probably watch MLS. I don't really watch it. Is Slonina really that good? And can he play with his feet?
Yeah, I mean, you have to take some of that with a grain of salt because the defenders in MLS are kind of stinky on some teams. He's blessed with some stinky ones, but he saves balls that probably should go in, and he plays out fairly well with his feet. He's 18. He's going to get better.
I like the idea of him. Like I watch some. I don't see any games, but I see some compilations of the saves he makes. So I mean, there looks like there could be. I'm not the best at judging goalkeepers, I don't think, but hopefully it'll be something that could come in soon because at the moment we have a conundrum unless Mendy fixes up, and I'm not sure. It's been a while. He's been bad now. But you think about before Lampard got fired, it was the same. He was letting in spilling balls into his goal. Tuchel comes in. He was the best keeper in the world. So maybe he also has it in that kind of way. I'm not sure.
Well, at least if you reduce chances on goal, any keeper is going to look better than they do when shots are coming in.
Oh, Black.
Well, they all look better. They all going to look a little bit more stinky with a bad defense. Even Allison looks bad at some points, but that's because his defense are getting run through. So
he's been bad this season. He's been bad.
There you go.
American keepers are low-key. Actually, I agree. When I was younger, the first goalkeeper I ever saw, I was watching it was the first time Chelsea won the FA Cup, and we got to we just beat Liverpool 4-2 after being 2 down, and I was so excited for the run. And we had Leicester City the next round, and we had a really tough game. And Casey Keller was the goalkeeper, and he saved absolutely everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, Keller was good.
Yeah, and Friedel as well. Friedel was also good. Tim Howard was good.
Oh, Brad Friedel.
Hey, I go back to Tony Meola. So,
do you remember when Tim Howard played for Man United and then had this mental breakdown and couldn't play for the team anymore?
I do not.
Yeah, it was he had there was a ball played back to him and he was on the goal line and it slipped through his feet. And it was an own goal. And then after that, his appearances just became progressively worse. And a lot of it was just a crisis of confidence.
That was before me watching Premier League football.
Yeah. Back when you were just watching college football?
No, Howard was there in what? 15, 14?
No. Well, much
8?
earlier. Marvin, you might want to have to help me out on this one.
Yep, I'm in.
What? When did Howard play for Man United? Was it early 2000s?
Yeah, he would have came in around about 2000 plus.
Yeah.
So maybe 2001 or something like that he was playing.
Yeah, I did. My life was a shambles at that point. So let's put it that way.
Jared getting lost in the sauce? What's going on here?
No. I was recovering from a stem cell transplant.
Oof. He joined in 2003, Tim Howard, for Man United, played 45 games, but didn't score any goals, which is a terrible return.
Didn't you? Yeah, but he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like, wait a minute.
I actually had you there, didn't I? But like I say,
Yeah, I
the
was thinking for a minute, like, wait, he's a goalkeeper.
But you guys, I think, and I might be wrong here. I remember the US national team in 2000, and you had an absolutely awesome team, in my opinion. Players like Beasley, McBride, Donovan, like these were good football players. And I think what you've got now is a lot of okay young players that just don't ever develop. I think you're in for an unfortunate time in this World Cup.
I don't know about that. I remember
it's gonna be
Josh
rich.
Wolf. Josh Wolf was the striker. No, there's some good players, man. Aronson's just
He's
come
good.
on. He's good.
Yeah, I like him.
Tim
His younger
Way.
brother's even better.
Really?
Paxton.
Yeah, Twitter's gonna melt down when the United States beats England. It's gonna be unbelievable.
It's going to be about a 3-0 win for us, I feel. You just have to hope you beat Wales.
If you don't win that game, by the way, you should be embarrassed.
Well, we didn't win the last time we played against US in the World Cup, did we? I think we drew, didn't we? But
yeah,
even that was a good team as well. You've been blessed with, I think, some pretty nice teams down the years.
There's 350 million people in America. I would hope that there's some talent here.
Yeah, there's that many in China, and they can't play football either. So, it happens.
Plus communism for you.
But you've got
they don't let players improve.
They still let anybody improve.
They have to have the same performance metric.
Yeah, they won't let anybody be better than the other players.
But
it's all going to be socialism.
You had a defender I really loved in around about 2003 to 6, which is a Gucci Onyewu, and
back in the day, yeah,
he was good. Yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah, his whole career went to shambles after he got in a fight with Zlatan. And like his career never recovered.
Punched him straight in the face, knocked him out, didn't he? He actually got him. But Ibrahimovic deserved it. He tried to foul him in training for no apparent reason at all.
You got to take the good with the bad with Ibra.
Yeah, which is mainly bad, and him thinking he's good.
Oh, please. He's won literally everything but Champions League.
In teams that he couldn't lose.
Look at how many goals he scored, man. Come on.
Yeah, a lot of tap-ins. Lukaku scored a
lot. So did Haaland, huh?
Haaland is the man, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Until he gets injured.
Hopefully he'll go to Real Madrid eventually.
I think that is a certainty.
Yeah.
He's going to replace Benzema.
Yeah, Benzema's injured now, too. They're hurting now for a striker.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason he's got a release clause after 2 years, man. I mean, that is all calculated. I'm sure his dad, Alfie, he's got this whole plan to get to Real Madrid. So
this is actually Alfie gives me a lot of hope for the future, because Alfie was an absolutely useless footballer and Erling's amazing. And so I'm not a very good player. I hope my son will be a good one.
What's for the NFL? I think most of the athletes would have played soccer. I don't know. Completely different sports.
Yeah, but I think that if you look at the talent that we put in athletics, of all the athletics, is if our main sport here was soccer, there would be no doubt we would be winning all the World Cups. Just the way it is, because of the sheer numbers and the amount of athletes that the United States puts out. If they were all going to soccer, I'm sorry.
You just got to look at which country invented which sport. I mean, we invented football and basketball. I mean, that's why we're so great at it, because we've had it ingrained in our culture for a long time. So we have a distinct advantage. I mean, England traditionally has been always very good. The league is very good, and that's probably because they invented the sport too. So,
right. But I just think I always said that you can tell why there's a formula to why some countries create the greatest athletes, and some countries don't. One, it has to do with the size of the population. For every so many people, you're going to get a world-class athlete. And so if you have a higher population count, you're going to have that many more world-class athletes that are born in your country just by sheer numbers. Then you have diversity in the population type, right? So some races aren't as athletically gifted as others. Let's just put it that way. It just is what it is. So diversity comes into that, and then you have the sheer amount of money that goes into sports in this country compared to other countries to develop world-class athletes. No other country does it to the scale the United States does. And so I could see us eventually taking over the World Cup like we did we had in a certain period of time for the women's game, because our women were the best in the world, bar none, because of Title IX.
Yeah.
And which, if y'all don't know, Title IX was for every man's sport, you had the same or comparable women's sport in college and in high school.
For scholarships. And, when you have a D1 program that has a football team, that means that all the women's sports are going to benefit from a ton of scholarships, because there's no women's sport that has 85 people on the roster. So they get the comparable amount of scholarships. It means there's going to be a lot more scholarship athletes on the women's side.
So that's why I say that we could be dominant, but it's not our major sport. You still have to get over basketball and football.
Yep.
And that's not going to happen anytime soon. So,
nope.
But we've almost gone for 2 hours tonight.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Oh, quiet, you shopping man. You didn't go for 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, I was there in spirit, and we have to think, was it really the memories that we made and the episode?
Oh, my God. Okay, relax, vitamin C, graduation song.
All right. Well, I'm going to call it a night. I got a busy week this next week. So we have a game on Wednesday. Hopefully we kick the crap out of Salzburg. And then we go to the weekend, and maybe we'll have a game against Liverpool.
Yeah, I got to go collect a couple bets. Put money on Tua.
That guy hasn't boxed for about 20 years, has he?
Oh, the
No,
Miami Dolphins quarterback.
The Dolphins quarterback.
Yeah, Tua.
Not David Tua.
Yeah, not David Tua. I love the jerseys of the Miami Dolphins. They're beautiful.
They're awesome. They're awesome. The team is awesome.
Oh, good. I hope they do well.
Yeah, buddy. Hipster coach.
Anyone but the Patriots for me. Anyone but the Patriots.
You and me
Oh,
both,
they're over
brother.
with.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah.
All right, Jared.
For me, for my panel, for everybody out there, y'all have a great evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and we'll do it again soon. Stay safe. And until next time, up Chelsea.
Hooah!
Let's go.